This is the news at 10 in our top stories. President Jammeh delivers a statement on the eve of the 19th anniversary of the July 22nd revolution, urging Gambians to live and behave according to our religion. Looking back at the revolution, Grts looks at major infrastructural projects nationwide and examine how they have changed people's lives nearly 2 decades on. The Gambia, among few African countries, setting the pace in the treatment of the deadly tuberculosis disease. An ICC Chief Prosecutor Fatou Bensida visits Ivory Coast to ask for more evidence against Laurent Gbagbo. These and other stories coming ahead this half hour. I am Bekumba Demba. The President, His Excellency Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Jammeh, has delivered a statement on the eve of the 19th anniversary of the July 22nd revolution. Speaking on a wide range of issues, the Gambian leader urged Gambians to be God-fearing and work towards nation building. The theme of this year's July 22nd revolution is "Let's live and behave according to our religion." Well, that excerpt will be coming later in the news bulletin. The Gambia is one of few countries on the continent to have met and exceeded the tuberculosis treatment success rate. Adama Jallo, Manager National TB Control Program, says as delegates conclude the 2013 African Union Heads of States and Government Special Summit on HIV, AIDS, TB and malaria. The health official was speaking to GRTS's Babakar Senghor in Abuja, Nigeria.
Minister of Women's Affairs, Aja Dr. Esetun Jai Sidi and other African Union leaders marked the close of proceedings at the graphic Abuja International Conference Center by posing for the cameras. They swiftly followed that light-hearted moment with a tour of specifically constructed stalls displaying medicinal products. The products include conventional and locally made medicinal herbs, and the idea here is to provide for the availability of both sets of products in the frontline battle against diseases. Tackling HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria was the main topic of discussion during the summit, with calls for increased funding for the health sector.
Accelerating progress towards the commitments that they earlier made in 2001, such as increment in budgetary allocation to health, such as creating an enabling environment for local or private sector involvement in the procurement or in the production of commodities related to these diseases, which is very important. As you may be aware, Africa still continues to rely on importation of drugs to respond to these diseases. So it's a commitment that there is need to accelerate progress, and there is a need to also revisit commitments that were earlier made, and of course map out a way forward.
But how does individual countries fare in responding to the challenges posed by these diseases? Adama Jallo, Manager TB Control Program, says the Gambia have taken giant steps in the area of tuberculosis case treatment success rate.
We've had successes made by other countries. We've had countries that have had funds but are still having challenges. We have seen countries that have made tremendous efforts in terms of reaching the MDG goals. I think some of those lessons are, for instance, meeting the case detection, TB, and meeting the treatment success. And I would like to add that Gambia is one of those countries that have met and exceeded the TB case treatment success rate, which is 89% as we speak. And WHO target is 85%. And that, for me, it's a big achievement for the country.
These successes, according to experts, can be attributed to the significant political support provided by the continent's leadership and the drive to curb the spread of these diseases.
The big lessons we've learned is now Africa will take ownership. Leadership also has been shown. You know, like example, I will take example of my country. Our president is chief commander of controlling malaria in the Gambia, and he has personally stood up to buy DDT to help us in the fight against malaria. You know, so he has been very committed and pushing hard to make sure that we achieve our aspirations. And we've worked very hard now that we are getting there. And the other bit of it is like the donors also have now understand that Africa has wanted to take responsibility. They are also willing to come into support. But their concern is now they want Africans also to chip in. Like there has been a set target that each government should be able to do at least minimum of 15% of the national budget to put into health.
as the continent charts a new front in its collective response to tackling three of the most intractable diseases. The question now is, what is next for Africa, 12 years after the historic summit in Abuja? For Grts News, this is Babukar Senghor.
The general public is hereby informed that His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yaya AGG Jammeh, GMR GFAEICL, is pleased to declare Monday 22nd July 2013 public holiday throughout the Gambia in observance of the 19th anniversary of the July 22nd Revolution. The President and members of the First Family wish all Gambians a happy July 22nd anniversary celebrations. For many people, the University of the Gambia is perhaps one of the biggest achievements of the July 22nd, 1994 revolution. As part of our series on massive projects hashed by the revolution, Ibrahima Balda went back memory lane to trace the early days of the revolution and the poignant historical statement delivered by the then chairman of the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council on 22nd July 1994.
Is revolving its wheels as the July 22nd, 1994 revolution comes into sharp focus. On the eve of the 19th anniversary of that epoch-making event, we decided to navigate through the bits and pieces of various moments that were captured during the first anniversary of the revolution. Marching triumphantly to the scene of the venue at what was then McCarthy Square, now renamed July 22nd Square, President Jammeh and his colleagues received a rapturous welcome from the hundreds of Gambians who gathered there since early in the morning to catch a glimpse of him and his council members. The crowds were ecstatic in their jubilations as several people waved various symbols or anything that they thought depicted the main events of the time. At the end of the entertainment, Chairman Jammeh took the floor and told Gambians, among other things, that accountability, transparency, and poverty would be the hallmark of the July 22nd revolution. He said categorically clear that anyone who was willing or thinking of joining the July 22nd movement should have in mind
the aims and objectives of the entire nation, and every member of the July 22nd movement